We don't usually do props, but David, props for your props. All right. Our next teller became a part of storytelling by listening to his dad's fisherman friends sharing story after story. Hailing from New Hampshire, for years he told tales of his camping adventures to family. Now that his 5 kids are all out of the house, they encouraged him to start telling these tales to others. He's a beekeeper, has hiked the Appalachian Trail, and you have a theme. He canoes and camps, and based on earlier stories he's shared with us here, he has put himself in harm's way on many occasions and lived to tell about it. Apparently no sacrifice is too great for a good story. Please welcome Tom Osborne.
I picked up my girlfriend, Colleen, from her northern New Jersey nursing school in my Volkswagen, my 67 Volkswagen Squareback. With Bob Dylan and the speakers in the back blaring, we worked our way up the Palisades Turnpike up towards Bear Mountain State Park, where we wanted to do a picnic. I had thought about this picnic for a long time. I had been away at college for a year and had planned this. I wanted to bring her up to some place because talking with her about the future, my undeclared major and her nursing degree really made me feel calm. I really liked being with her. But there were those doubts. There was those doubts. How could I be with her? How could I be so lucky? Would she feel safe in the places that I really like to be? And what were her hopes and her dreams for the future? My pack was heavy. My load was heavy. It had wine and food and picnic stuff in it, and the trail was steep but smooth. And as we get towards the top, I thought we'd be able to see through the trees pretty soon. Suddenly a man comes running down the trail, screaming and waving his arms. "Stop, turn back, you can't go that way, it's too dangerous." And he comes up to us and he tells us all about it, and then he runs off as if he had just almost died. And something inside me clicked, and I got a little excited. And I dropped my pack and I said to her, "Wait here, it's going to be okay." And I ran up the trail. And around the corner, past the trees, where the trail narrowed to a sunny spot in the middle of the trail, 10 feet from me, was a huge, coiled snake in the trail. And then I walked a little closer because it wasn't moving. 5 feet. And I could see that its eyes were slightly shut. Now, I caught a lot of snakes in my backyard. And none of them were this big. I mean, it was huge. And none of them were probably as dangerous. But I knew what to do, so I picked up the right kind of stick. And I inched a little closer, 4 feet. Now I could see its red tongue going out, sensing something. Maybe me. 3 feet. And I could hear a rattle. Now I knew that I was within striking distance. All of my vision, all of time, went down to this one moment. I knew had to be fast. In 2 steps I was upon it, put the branch down on it, got my hand around its neck. It was wiggling around. Awake now, it was wrapped around my arm. I had my hand around its neck, not too tight, not too loose. Its baseball-sized head trying to get out, its fangs, its tongue lapping, but I had it. I stood up in success, and then suddenly I was scared. There was a hand on my wrist taking my pulse. She was taking my pulse. and she says, "Wow. Your heart rate's really going fast." And then she looked and she she traced the diamonds on the back of the snake, and its black, diamonds in its gold, silver type of back. And we looked in wonder at the rattle it had. That's when I knew. That's when I knew. And we took the snake and we let it loose on a nice sunny spot that was safer. And she said, "Beautiful, isn't he?" And I stood back and looked at her and said, "Beautiful and one of a kind." Thank you.
Don't ever do that again.